My story with addiction really started when I was in high school, and I found an outlet in drugs and alcohol that I had not found before. It was something that allowed me to feel comfortable. It was something that allowed me to feel okay in my skin. Before that, it was a lot of anxiety and fear, and I think I found my niche, so to speak. And for a long time it worked. A long time using drugs and partying and having social friendships centered around drug use was an outlet that worked for me. Um, Unfortunately, as what we know about addiction, the more that you progress, it is a progressive illness. And once that progression sets in, there is no turning back. I am an opiate addict. My drug of choice was opiates, which started out like most opioid and opiate addictions do. It started out with painkillers, hydrocodone, Vicodin, Loratabs, and then I had a natural progression, all the way up through, harder, prescription drugs like oxycodone and oxycontin and morphine, and then all the way up to heroin, which just was a cheaper, more easily and readily available product. I tell our patients here, at RiverMend Health that most people can pinpoint the month or the day that it transitioned into not being fun anymore. And that really happened for me in college. It was my sophomore year in college. I was living in a fraternity house, and I remember waking up one morning and I said, I'm not doing this for fun anymore. This is a job, this is a chore. I have to do this to feel normal. Once you reach that threshold of tolerance and withdrawal, it becomes, I have to have this to feel normal. It took some time, to become aware of what my behaviors and addictive behaviors and actions were doing, not only on myself, but the people around me. And it was really a handful of friends and family members who came to me and helped keep me accountable. That's one of the things that we know about addiction, is that it's a family illness, and it affects everyone around us, not only the addict. So it took family members setting some really tough boundaries, for me to actually realize the ramifications of my actions. We can choose where to stop. We might not necessarily know how to stop, but we can choose our bottom. It doesn't have to keep going. We can choose to ask for help. And I couldn't stop using. I think what I said was to my parents is, I don't want to be doing what I'm doing, but I don't know how not to do it. That's a little confusing sounding, but that really is true. Is that I wanted more so than anything to not be using drugs, but I didn't know how not to do it. And so it really took me making a conscious decision of, I don't want to live this way anymore, and it took me getting to a certain point in my using history and in my active addiction to be willing to try something different. But at that point, I really didn't have anything to lose. And I think if you or if anybody else is at that point in their lives where they're feeling upset, or they're feeling hopeless, or they're feeling like they want to try something different, then I ask the question of, what do you have to lose?